Welcome, friends of Sleep in History. Tonight, we'll drift gently along the banks of the Nile, past papyrus fields and sun-warmed temples carved into the desert stone. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Follow the quiet footsteps of a gentle man, a craftsman of sweetness, a beekeeper of ancient Egypt. Long before sunrise, Tefnut awakens. He's not a priest nor a soldier. He's an ordinary man, yet his craft is sacred. Every day he works in harmony with bees, which the ancient Egyptians called the tears of Ra. As he opens the wooden door of his mud brick home, the scent of wet earth rises from the Nile's edge. In the distance, rowers chant in rhythm, and the marketplace hums to life. Tefnut walks slowly to his apiary, a quiet courtyard lined with clay hives, cylindrical and sun-baked like small temples to nature. There is no rush, only ancient, deliberate movements. He lights a bundle of dry reeds, the smoke soft and fragrant. It calms the bees so he can approach with care and respect. He lifts the lids of each hive, one by one, with steady hands. Hello. Whenever he finds a strong golden honeycomb, he smiles softly. This isn't just honey. It is an offering to the gods, a healing salve, food for nobles, even a form of tax. Egyptians believed bees were born from the tears of the sun god. When Ra cried, his tears fell to the desert and became golden bees. So Tefnut's work is not simple labor. It's a ritual, a devotion. As he harvests the honey, he hums an ancient hymn to Neith, goddess of fertility and weaving. The words speak of lotus flowers, of nectar eternal, of balance between earth and sky. When the gathering is done, Tefnut pours the honey into terracotta jars. He seals each one with beeswax, a golden lid on liquid light. Some will go to the temple, some to heal a child's wound, some to sweeten the bread of a wealthy scribe. Each jar is a quiet promise of sweetness, of health, of divine favor. At dusk, the desert cools. Tefnut sits outside his home with a simple meal, a slice of barley bread, a piece of cheese, and a clay cup filled with dark home-brewed beer. He watches the bees return to their hives, slow, graceful, like boats coming home to harbor. His life is not easy, but it is orderly, respected, and full of purpose. Stars begin to glow in the night sky. Tefnut lies down on a woven mat. His hands still carry the scent of honey. In the quiet, you can hear the low hum of his tiny kingdom. Maybe he dreams of flying with his bees, of floating between lotus blossoms along the sacred river. And you, listening now, perhaps you'll fall asleep beside him, in a time far away, wrapped in sweetness and silence. Let us now leave the hot sands of Egypt and drift gently across the ancient sea. Our journey takes us into a land of soft hills and sacred groves, to the realm of the gods. Here in the golden age of myth, there lived a boy named Aristeus. He was no ordinary child. Born of the god Apollo and the nymph Cyrene, he was cradled by the Muses. Nurtured in the quiet green of nature and gifted with a gentle heart. The Muses taught him many things: the secrets of olive trees, the wisdom of rivers, and the sacred art of tending bees. Imagine him walking barefoot through wild thyme and blooming lavender, carrying a small woven basket, whispering to his bees as if they were friends. Aristeus grew to love the world's quiet beauty, and in time, he became its guardian, but not all was peaceful. One day, the bees he loved so dearly began to die. Their hives turned to silence. In grief, Aristeus sought Proteus, the shape-shifting old god of the sea. Proteus resisted, changing form again and again into a lion, a serpent, a flame. But Aristeus held on. And when the god tired, he spoke. Your bees have died because of sorrow. You must make an offering, and from sacrifice, life will return. And so he did. Aristeus offered 9 animals upon an altar. From their lifeless bodies, a miracle. Buzzing golden bees emerged. New life from sorrow, sweetness from grief. Pause softer. What does this story teach us? That care and love are not always gentle. Sometimes, to save what is precious, we must endure loss. In this myth, the bee becomes more than an insect. It is a messenger, a sacred thread between gods and men, and Aristeus, he remains to this day. The quiet protector of beekeepers. In Rome, they called upon Melona, the goddess of honey. In other lands, different names, but always the same gentle reverence for the bee. Now, let your mind rest in that ancient grove where bees hum like lullabies, and the scent of wildflowers drifts through the warm air. You open a tomb. The air is still, and inside a jar, sealed for over 3,000 years. Inside the jar, liquid honey, golden, fragrant, untouched by time. This is no fantasy. This is Egypt. Archaeologists have found honey in the tombs of the pharaohs, still sweet after millennia. Imagine a priest placing it beside a mummy, final gift. A food for the journey into the afterlife. Honey was eternal. Its sweetness, its purity, its ability to never spoil, made it sacred. And the bees, they too were preserved. In rare cases, tiny mummified bees have been discovered, wrapped like kings. But honey held more than sweetness. In the distant Black Sea region of Pontus, a strange honey was made, dark, bitter, and when consumed in large amounts, hallucinogenic. Legend says Persian soldiers used it against Roman invaders, leaving jars along mountain paths. The Romans ate, and soon they saw visions, collapsed, and were defeated. Black honey, a weapon. Now close your eyes. You are an Egyptian scribe. You dip your pen into ink and write of the honey harvest. The bees have returned from the lotus fields. We have gathered the first sweetness. The gods will be pleased. You watch the jars sealed. Whisper prayers to the gods. The bee in Egypt was not just an insect. It was a symbol of the king, a sign of order, of harmony. Soft pause in honey. It was memory. It was mourning. It was medicine. Tonight, we let these ancient stories melt slowly into us as the scent of beeswax and myrrh fills the air. Now, let us walk among marble columns. Let us sit at a banquet table in Rome. The cups are gold. The air is warm, and the wine, sweetened with honey, mulsum they called it. A rich blend of red wine and golden nectar. Roman elites believed honey warmed the heart, that it soothed the spirit. Imagine tasting it slowly as music drifts through the garden. Beside you, a plate of melituda, a sweet Greek cake. Soaked in honey, sprinkled with sesame. But honey was more than food. It was beauty. Cleopatra herself, Queen of Queens, was said to bathe in milk and honey, to apply it to her skin as a mask, to glow in candlelight. Honey was for the elite, but also for the people. In the busy markets of Phoenicia, traders carried jars wrapped in linen, infused with herbs, destined for temples, homes, and palaces. The honey roots connected empires, from Persia to the Aegean, from Nubia to Babylon. Now imagine this, a warm kitchen, thousands of years ago. You mix honey with rose water, with cinnamon, with soft flour. You prepare a cake for a feast. Your hands work slowly. The scent rises. Add. And in this small, quiet act, there is care, sweetness, love, soft trailing off. And as the banquet fades, and night falls across the empire, let the honeyed dreams carry you to sleep. Now immerse yourself in another dimension of the ancient Egyptian beekeeper's life. A practice as ancient as it is fascinating. The transhumance of bees. It wasn't just about placing hives in one spot and waiting, but about moving them, following the rhythms and blooms along the sacred Nile. This journey was an art, a dance between man, the river, and the bees, aimed at producing the richest and most varied honey the land of Egypt could offer. Imagine yourself on one of the typical Egyptian sailing boats, a felucca not laden with papyrus or grain, but with dozens, perhaps hundreds, of cylindrical clay hives. The sun is setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, while the evening breeze caresses your skin. The hum of the bees, usually a distant murmur, here is a vibrant chorus filling the air, a constant sound that lulls you. And the river, to live in harmony with the seasons, and to ensure that the sweet gift of bees never ran out in the homes and temples of Egypt. Close your eyes and imagine that boat, those hives, and the sweet, constant hum that accompanies you into the heart of the Egyptian night, a sound that carries you toward a deep and restorative sleep. Starting in the heart of the flood, the hives were brought towards the delta, where late blooms offered a new abundance of nectar. As the boat moved, the bees, unaware of their aquatic journey, rested, ready to re-emerge in a new floral paradise. But to the mysterious and fertile lands of Fayum, a lush oasis fed by a branch of the Nile, Khemu searched for days, his heart heavy, but without losing hope. He was a man who understood that sometimes the solution is not to force, but to wait, observe, and offer discreet help. His honey, with the unique flavor of desert flowers and oasis plants, was prized for its rarity and purity. But Khemu's true wealth was not the honey, but his inner peace, his ability to find harmony even in the greatest challenges. Close your eyes and feel the desert wind caress your skin, the persistent hum of tenacious bees and Khemu's reassuring calm. The beekeeper who found beauty in life where you least expect it. Let yourself be lulled by this story of wisdom and adaptation and drift gently into sleep. Finally, as the sun set over a seemingly endless desert, he saw something. Not a hive, but a solitary tamarisk tree, almost buried by the sand, and in a hollow of the trunk, his bees. They had rebuilt a wild comb, adapting with incredible tenacity. Khemu didn't disturb them. He left honey and water, and returned the next day with a new hive, which he carefully placed next to the tree. He let the bees decide to transfer when they felt ready, and within a few weeks, the colony returned to its full productivity. His hives were not arranged in neat rows, but scattered among the dunes and canals, hidden among the wild blossoms that grew in that unique region. While other Nile beekeepers relied on river transhumance, Khemu specialized in a form of stationary, yet adaptive, beekeeping. He was a master at finding the perfect niches, the microclimates, where bees could thrive even when blooms were scarce elsewhere. The Bear Yusuf. Khemu was a man of few words, with watchful eyes and hands marked by the sun and honey. When the wind rose and the horizon turned yellow, Khemu didn't seek shelter, he prepared. He wandered for miles through the newly sculpted dunes, following an inner call that only a true beekeeper could understand. He listened to the silence, then a faint hum. His bees, disoriented and scattered, needed him. He knew their flight patterns, their foraging habits. He carried small cups of fresh water and honey, leaving them at strategic points to guide the tired and confused bees back home. His hives were built to be sturdy, anchored to the ground with woven ropes, and he, with surprising calm, waited. His story is not one of fame or royal service, but of resilience, ingenuity, and a deep, almost mystical connection to his craft and his land. In the morning, the boat would gently dock. You and your helpers would carefully unload the hives, placing them among the blooming clover fields or near laden date palms. The hives were carefully loaded at dusk, when all the bees had returned to their homes. Each relocation meant a new type of honey, from the sweet acacia honey to the rich lotus honey to the robust date honey. This practice not only ensured a constant production of prized honey throughout the year, but also enriched the flavor you, the beekeeper, are there watchful, and properties of the nectar, making it a true treasure of tastes and aromas, a reflection of the journey itself. It was a delicate task, done with slow, precise movements, so as not to disturb the colonies. The boat glides silently on the dark waters of the Nile, guided by the faint starlight. You know that every bend in the river, every curve, could lead to new blooms, to unexplored pastures for your bees. The journey continued for days, sometimes weeks, following the flow of the Nile from south to north. The scene that unfolded was magical. Thousands of bees emerged from the hives, quickly orienting themselves in the new environment, joining the symphony of nature. Transhumance was a tiring but deeply rewarding endeavor. It was a way to connect even more intimately with the rhythms of the earth, the story of Khemu, the wandering beekeeper of Fayum. Now let yourself be carried away by a different story, that of Khemu, a beekeeper not tied to the splendor of the main Nile. Khemu lived in a small community of farmers and fishermen, far from the big cities. Khemu's greatest challenge wasn't bee diseases or predators, but the sudden sandstorms that could engulf the oasis, disorienting his bees and burying his hives. Often, after a storm, Khemu would set out on his silent quest. There was a time during one of the worst storms Fayum had ever seen, when one of Khemu's colonies, his oldest and most productive, disappeared. Khemu's story is not just about beekeeping, but about a deep trust in nature and a quiet resilience. The Oasis of Artisans. Daily life in Deir el-Medina lets drift away from the scent of honey for a moment and journey to a unique village. Hidden in a valley on the west bank of the Nile, far from the bustling cities and the grand temples, this is Deir el-Medina, a settlement unlike any other in ancient Egypt. Your small, sturdy house, built of stone and mud brick, is nestled among dozens of others, forming a close-knit community. There's a sense of purpose here, a quiet pride in the work that defines this village. After a day of meticulous work, the air cools, and the village comes alive with quiet sounds. Families sharing meals, children playing softly in the narrow streets, the murmuring of conversations. There's a strong bond among these artisans. They share their skills, their stories, and sometimes even their tools. Feel the calm rhythm of a life devoted to craft, surrounded by a supportive community. Let the soft echoes of their ancient work lull you into a peaceful slumber, a journey into the quiet artistry of a bygone era. Transport yourself to the world of the ancient Egyptian perfumer, a master of aromas, working with precious resins, fragrant flowers, and exotic spices. The air is thick with a symphony of subtle fragrances. The warmth of myrrh, the sweetness of lily, the earthiness of frankincense, and the delicate notes of blue lotus. Your hands, the perfumer's hands, are stained with oils and powders, moving with deliberate grace as you grind, infuse, and distill. In this world, scents were not just about pleasure, were intimately woven into daily life, religious rituals, and even the pursuit of tranquility and spiritual connection. This was often burned at night, believed to induce calm and prophetic dreams. Imagine the quiet concentration of the perfumer, blending sacred aromas, creating an atmosphere of peace and introspection. They also provide plenty of scope for an audio narrator to stretch out the descriptions and use a soothing pace. Let these gentle, fragrant notes envelop you, guiding your mind away from daily cares and into a deep, restorative sleep, scented with the tranquility of ages past. As you prepare these ancient blends, you are also preparing a pathway to relaxation, for others and for yourself. They work hard, but they also enjoy their time off, their shared feasts, and their small personal temples dedicated to local deities. Temples would burn vast quantities of incense, filling the air with intoxicating clouds to honor the gods. Even the deceased were anointed with precious oils to aid their journey to the afterlife. For you, the perfumer, each creation carries a deeper meaning, a connection to the divine, a pathway to serenity. Here, life moved to a different rhythm, one of skilled hands, quiet artistry, and a surprising sense of community and well-being. You carefully gather petals from the morning's harvest, bruise herbs in large stone mortar, and gently heat fragrant woods over low fires to release their precious essences. There's no rush, only the careful observation of temperature and time, ensuring that each ingredient yields its full aromatic potential. You are creating not just perfumes, but sacred oils, anointing balms, and incense for purification and meditation. These were highly respected specialists, provided with rations, housing, and even medical care. They had a unique freedom to organize their lives, to take Sundays off, a rare concept in ancient times, and to pursue their crafts with a deep sense of artistic fulfillment. Their work was demanding, but it was also deeply satisfying, a direct contribution to the sacred heart of their civilization. This was home to the artisans and craftsmen who built and decorated the royal tombs in the Valley of the Kings. Imagine waking not to the hum of bees, but to the gentle tap-tap of a chisel against stone, or the soft rustle of a painter's brush. Your days are spent in the cool, shaded workshops or deep within the mountainside, creating beauty for eternity. Perhaps you are a scribe, carefully drawing the outlines of hieroglyphs on tomb walls. Your hand steady, your mind focused on the sacred words. Or maybe you are a sculptor, patiently carving the features of a god or pharaoh, seeing the form emerge from the raw stone. Each stroke, each line is a meditation, a testament to dedication. Evenings in Deir el-Medina are a tapestry of simple pleasures. What made Deir el-Medina so special was its stability and its relative prosperity. These were not slaves or common laborers. Close your eyes and imagine the quiet dedication of those hands, the silent focus of those minds, shaping beauty in the heart of the desert. The journey of the perfumer, scent, ritual, and tranquility. Now let's allow another sense to guide us into a tranquil slumber. The sense of smell. Let's imagine a small, shaded workshop, perhaps in a quiet corner of a temple complex or a noble estate. Your day is a patient process of extraction and blending. The use of scent in ancient Egypt was pervasive. Noble women would wear cones of scented fat on their heads at banquets, slowly melting to release fragrant oils. The aroma of a newly finished batch of kefi, a complex incense with notes of myrrh. Frankincense, honey, and wine brings a deep sense of peace. Close your eyes and allow the soft, evocative sense of ancient Egypt to wash over you. These two segments offer distinct but equally calming narratives. Moving beyond the direct beekeeping theme while staying within the realm of fulfilling quiet work in ancient Egypt. The Dream Interpreter's Chamber. Unraveling ancient visions, let your mind drift now to a quieter, more mysterious corner of ancient Egyptian life, a place where the veil between waking and dreaming was believed to be thin. Imagine yourself in the chamber of an ancient Egyptian dream interpreter, a revered figure who navigated the hidden pathways of the subconscious, seeking guidance and understanding in the realm of visions. Soft, flickering oil lamps cast dancing shadows on the walls, adorned with faded hieroglyphs depicting sleepy deities or symbols of the night sky. There's a low couch covered with cool linen, where individuals would recline, whispering their nocturnal journeys to the interpreter. For the Egyptians, dreams were not mere fleeting images. They were messages from the gods, prophecies, or warnings, crucial insights into the future and the state of one's soul. The goal was always harmony, to bring the inner world of dreams into balance with the outer world of waking. Imagine the gentle cadence of the interpreter's voice, the calming scent of herbs, the quiet wisdom flowing through the air. Allow the peaceful act of unraveling ancient visions to guide your own mind into a state of deep, tranquil rest, where your dreams can unfold with clarity and peace. The chamber itself often felt like a sanctuary, a haven from the day's worries, where the mind could truly relax, unburdened by the mysteries of the night. Picture a hushed, dimly lit room, perhaps within a temple complex, where the air is still and heavy with the scent of calming herbs like frankincense and myrrh. With a gentle voice, you guide the dreamer through their own narrative, helping them recall the precise emotions, the colors, the sounds. You interpret the symbols with a profound understanding of their cultural and spiritual weight. The clay responds to your touch, growing taller, wider, thinner, transforming under your very hands into the elegant curve of a jar, the sturdy base of a bowl, or the delicate rim of a cup. There's no rush. Each movement is slow, precise, intuitive. You listen to the clay, feeling its give, its tension, guiding it rather than forcing it. The potter's life was one of humble creation, essential to every household, every temple, every journey. It was a life deeply connected to the elements, to the steady flow of the river, and to the enduring legacy of human ingenuity. In the life-giving waters of the Nile, the art of the potter, there's a deep satisfaction in watching a form emerge from shapelessness, knowing that this vessel, once hardened by the sun, then comes the firing. A magical transformation in the intense heat of the kiln, turning the soft clay into durable, unyielding ceramic. And then fired in a kiln will hold water, store grain, or carry oil, serving the everyday needs of a thriving civilization. The clay, initially resisting, gradually yields, rising and falling until it forms a perfectly balanced mound, ready to be shaped. Allow the steady, rhythmic movements of the potter to calm your mind and lead you into a deep, peaceful sleep, enveloped by the timeless essence of ancient craftsmanship. This act of centering is itself a meditation, a lesson in finding balance amidst motion, a core principle of life. This is a tale of creation from simplicity, of hand-shaping functionality and beauty, and of a rhythm as old as time itself. A serpent might signify danger, or it could represent healing. The air carries the earthy scent of damp clay, mingled with the dry, warm aroma of drying pots. Before you is a mound of dark, pliable clay freshly dug from the riverbank, meticulously cleaned of impurities, and kneaded until it is perfectly smooth and responsive. Your hands, strong and knowing, are covered in the slick, cool earth, a testament to countless hours spent in this timeless craft. The heart of this space is the potter's wheel. It's a simple, yet profoundly effective device that transforms inert earth into vessels of life. Water might be purification or overwhelming emotion. Your words are carefully chosen, soothing and reassuring, designed to calm the mind and offer perspective, easing anxieties that may have arisen from a perplexing dream. You, the dream interpreter, are a figure of quiet wisdom and deep empathy. Your tools are not chisels or papyrus, but silence, intuition, and an ancient handwritten scroll of interpretations passed down through generations. You listen intently, your gaze soft but focused. As a supplicant recounts their dream, perhaps a fleeting vision of the Nile overflowing, or a conversation with a departed loved one, or the appearance of a sacred animal. Every detail is significant, every symbol a potential key. Your role is to bring clarity, not anxiety. Often the interpretation would lead to a simple, actionable piece of advice. An offering to a specific god, a period of quiet reflection, or a small adjustment to daily life. Close your eyes now and feel the stillness of that ancient chamber by the potter's wheel, shaping life from the Nile's embrace. Let us now journey to another fundamental aspect of ancient Egyptian life, one deeply rooted in the very earth beneath their feet. Imagine a sun-dappled workshop, open to the gentle breeze, located near the rich, muddy banks of the Nile. You, the potter, sit before your wheel, perhaps on a low stool, your body relaxed but attentive. The process begins with centering the clay, and you press down, firmly but gently, as the wheel begins to spin slowly under your foot or the pull of an assistant. Then, with a gentle pressure of your thumbs, you create an opening in the center, slowly widening it, drawing the walls of the pot upwards. The sounds in the workshop are soothing. The soft whir of the wheel, the occasional squelch of wet clay, the distant lapping of the Nile, and the gentle sigh of the wind. After shaping, the pots are carefully set out to dry under the warm Egyptian sun, slowly hardening, changing color from dark earth to a lighter, dusty hue. This rhythm of earth, water, and fire, of shaping and transforming, was a source of quiet contentment. Close your eyes and feel the cool, pliable clay in your hands, the gentle spin of the wheel, and the quiet satisfaction of creation. The scribe's quiet study. The art of eternal words. Let's now step into a space of profound quiet and intellectual focus, a haven of learning and meticulous artistry. The scribe's study in ancient Egypt. In a civilization built on the power of the written word, the scribe was a figure of immense importance. The walls might be plain or adorned with simple, instructive diagrams. The air is still, carrying the faint, woody scent of papyrus scrolls and the earthy aroma of dried ink cakes. The only sounds are the gentle scratching of a reed pen, the soft rustle of a new scroll being unrolled, or the faint, distant murmurs of the city outside, which rarely intrude on this sanctuary of thought. There is immense satisfaction in watching the blank surface gradually fill with meaning, knowing that your work will endure for centuries, preserving knowledge for future generations. You would study ancient texts, master complex grammatical rules, and explore philosophical concepts, your mind constantly engaged in the pursuit of wisdom. This intellectual engagement, combined with the quiet discipline of the craft, fostered a profound sense of inner peace. It is a solitary profession, but never lonely, for you are surrounded by the voices of the past, communicating through the very words you carefully transcribe. Allow the timeless art of crafting eternal words to calm your mind and guide you into a deep, undisturbed sleep, surrounded by the wisdom of ages. Often working in serene solitude, preserving knowledge, crafting records, and bringing stories to life through the delicate dance of reed pen on papyrus. There's no need for frantic rowing or strained effort, or it might be a leisurely trip to collect papyrus from a marshy inlet, or to check on fishing nets. Each task is performed with quiet dignity and a profound respect for the river that sustains all life. The stars blaze with an intensity rarely seen in the modern world, reflecting on the dark mirror-like surface of the Nile. The air cools. The only sounds are the nocturnal chirping of insects and the soft, continuous flow of the river, a lullaby that has comforted countless generations. And boatmen are each designed to be expanded with rich, sensory details and a slow narrative pace. Each one offers a distinct slice of life from ancient Egypt, focusing on calming, rhythmic, and meaningful activities. You sleep soundly, rocked by the gentle sway of the boat, feeling entirely at peace, utterly connected to the ancient pulse of the land. In the first few segments, we should comfortably achieve and even surpass your target of an hour of deeply relaxing content. The Nile itself is your guide, its current a benevolent force. The vast, eternal sky stretches above you, a canopy of cerulean blue by day, and a breathtaking canvas of countless stars by night. You observe the water's surface, the subtle eddies, the floating lotus leaves, the occasional flash of a fish. You read the wind, adjusting the sail with slight, intuitive movements, harnessing nature's power to propel you forward. This is not work that demands strenuous exertion, but rather harmonious cooperation with the elements. Imagine yourself in a small, well-lit room, perhaps within a temple library, a government office, or the private home of a wealthy noble. You dip your reed pen into the water, then rub it against the ink cake, preparing the perfect consistency. Then, with a breath held in, you begin to write. Imagine yourself as an ancient Egyptian boatman, not one navigating the bustling harbors of a great city, but a solitary figure guiding a small. Allow the unhurried journey of the ancient boatman to carry you away from all your waking thoughts, deeper and deeper into a state of profound peace and tranquil, undisturbed sleep. The sun is not harsh, but a warm, comforting presence on your skin. The air is clean, carrying the faint scent of wet reeds, distant blossoms, and the cool, life-giving essence of the river. The only sounds are the soft lapping of water against the hull, the gentle creak of the mast, and the almost imperceptible whisper of the wind filling the sail. Simple vessel along the calmer, less traveled stretches of the river, truly becoming one with its ancient soothing rhythm. Each symbol, each word, is crafted with meticulous care, not just for legibility, but for beauty and meaning. You might be copying a sacred text, recording the daily inventory of a granary, composing a letter for a merchant, or documenting a pharaoh's grand victory. Every line is a link in the chain of history, a whisper carried across time. You, the scribe, sit cross-legged on a mat, your back straight, your focus absolute. Before you lies a polished wooden palette, holding your tools, neatly cut reeds, sharpened to a fine point, and 2 small cakes of ink. One black, made from soot and water, and one red, 4 headings and corrections. Stacked nearby are rolls of papyrus, carefully prepared, their smooth surfaces waiting to be adorned with the elegant strokes of hieroglyphs or the flowing lines of hieratic script. Your day is a meditative dance between concentration and precision. The rhythmic motion of your hand, the soft scratch of the pen, the slow unrolling of the papyrus, these create a soothing, almost hypnotic environment. Beyond the practicalities, the scribe's life was one of continuous learning. Close your eyes and feel the smooth papyrus beneath your fingertips. Hear the gentle scratch of the reed pen, and imagine the quiet concentration of the ancient scribe. The boatman's gentle current, flowing with the rhythm of the Nile, let's now allow the gentle, persistent flow of the Nile itself to carry us into a state of profound relaxation. Picture your small boat, a graceful felucca, with its distinctive triangular sail, cutting silently through the water. Your hands, strong and weathered, guide the tiller with practiced ease. Your journey might be short, ferrying a few baskets of produce from one village to another, or perhaps carrying a solitary passenger seeking passage to a remote temple. The scenery unfolds before you like a living scroll, lush green fields giving way to golden sands, distant palm groves shimmering in the heat, small mud brick villages appearing and disappearing with each bend in the river. When night falls, you might anchor your boat near a quiet bank, away from the sounds of human settlement. Close your eyes and feel the gentle sway of the boat, the cool breeze on your face, and the rhythmic lapping of the Nile. These 4 new segments, Dream Interpreter, Potter, Scribe, with the careful expansion of each of these, along with your existing prologue. The Beekeeper's Apprentice, passing down the ancient wisdom. Let's now shift our focus to the quiet art of passing on knowledge, a timeless ritual in ancient Egypt. Imagine yourself as our seasoned beekeeper, no longer alone, but with a young apprentice by your side. A young boy, Perhaps your son or a hopeful villager stands beside you by the hives, his eyes wide with a mixture of curiosity and a little apprehension. He is eager to learn, but still new to the ways of the buzzing multitude. You show him how to light the brazier, how to cup the smoke, just so gently directing it over the hive opening. He watches as you inspect the frames, explaining the different types of cells. The larger drone cells, smaller worker cells. You show him how to prepare the clay pots for honey, how to seal them with precision. You teach him the different qualities of honey, its color, its viscosity, its subtle taste variations depending on the flowers from which it was gathered. He learns the best times for harvest, dictated by the seasons and the specific blooms along the Nile, and the sealed queen's cell, if the colony is preparing a new ruler. You share ancient tales of bees as divine messengers, of honey as a gift from the gods, of the deep respect due to these tiny creatures. It is a quiet promise that the legacy of the bees and the sweet wisdom they offer will continue through generations. You and your community prepare, moving your precious hives to higher ground, to the village rooftops, or to specially constructed mounds safe from the rising waters. It's a time of waiting, of quiet sustenance. Delicate lotus blossoms unfurl on the receding waters, their petals glistening in the morning sun. Fields of clover spring forth, green and lush, and the acacia trees, invigorated by the moisture, burst into fragrant bloom. This is the bees' grand feast, a boundless banquet spread across the rejuvenated landscape. But as the waters begin their slow retreat, leaving behind a fresh, fertile layer of rich black earth, something truly magical begins to happen. Imagine the vibrant explosion of wildflowers, the excited hum of countless bees, and the profound sense of renewal that fills the air. Let this timeless rhythm, this cycle of life and sweet bounty, carry you gently into a deep, restorative, and peaceful sleep. The air takes on a different quality, humid, vital, charged with the energy of renewal, expanding on the themes of skill transfer, connection to nature, and the vital relationship with the Nile's annual rhythms. They provide ample detail and a calming narrative to significantly extend your video's length beyond the 45-minute mark, reaching and surpassing the hour mark with immersive content. Close your eyes and feel the warmth of the sun on your face. Hear the gentle hum of bees and imagine the quiet bond between master and apprentice, learning the timeless secrets of the hive. You carefully move your hives down from their temporary high ground, placing them strategically among the most abundant new blooms. The honey produced during this season is often the most abundant and due to the diverse array of new flowers, often the most flavorful and complex. For the beekeeper, it's a direct, tangible connection to the heartbeat of their world, a source of endless wonder and gratitude. There is immense peace in knowing that this ancient cycle will repeat, year after year, bringing with it the promise of new life, new blooms, and new, precious honey. It carries the essence of the Nile's life-giving power, the very spirit of renewal. You collect the brimming honeycombs, heavy with the liquid gold. Knowing that this sweetness is a direct gift from the river itself, a cycle of life that has sustained your people for millennia. The air around the hives vibrates with an excited, industrious hum. The bees, sensing this sudden bounty, fly out in swarms, their tiny bodies tirelessly collecting the rich, new nectar. And how it intertwined with the rhythm of the beekeeper-esque world, the annual inundation of the Nile. But then a distant rumbling begins, a whisper from the south, from the heart of Africa. The river begins to swell, slowly at first, then majestically, its waters rising and spreading across the vast plains, carrying with them rich dark silt from the highlands. This is the Akit, the season of inundation, a time of profound transformation and promise. This was not a flood of destruction, but a miraculous, life-giving event that renewed the land, and in turn offered a unique feast for the bees, ensuring a continuous flow of golden honey. Let this serene image guide you now into a deep, peaceful sleep. The apprentice, his mind tired but enriched, absorbs these lessons, not just of skill, but of reverence. You show him how to spot the queen, a task that requires a keen eye, an immense focus, teaching him to look for the subtle differences, the calm center of the buzzing world. His initial movements might be clumsy, a bit too quick, but your hand, steady and reassuring, guides his, teaching him the necessary calm. You speak of patience, the most vital tool in a beekeeper's kit. Bees teach us patience, you might say, for haste brings only stings. Your task now is not just to tend the bees, but to teach, to patiently guide another soul into the profound secrets of this ancient craft. This segment explores the gentle rhythm of mentorship, the subtle lessons learned not just through words. You point to a single bee, returning to the hive, heavy with pollen on its legs, explaining the colors it carries, yellow from lotus, orange from acacia. You teach the apprentice to identify the different sounds of the hive, the contented hum of a thriving colony, the agitated buzz of a disturbed one, the urgent, almost frantic sound when the queen is missing. And you are teaching him to listen with his whole being. These are not just noises. They are the language of the hive, but through shared silence and meticulous observation, ensuring the ancient wisdom of the bees endures. Picture a cool, early morning, the air still fresh with dew. Your lessons begin not with grand pronouncements, but with quiet observation. You demonstrate the careful art of using smoke. It's not to harm them, you whisper, but to tell them we come in peace. The apprentice learns the delicate touch needed to lift a honeycomb, how to avoid crushing the fragile cells, not just as a job, but as a connection to the very lifeblood of Egypt. Throughout the day, your teaching is woven into the fabric of your work. Evenings are spent quietly, perhaps by the river. Recounting stories of beekeeping, this passing of knowledge is more than just practical training. It is the transmission of a way of life, a philosophy of harmony with nature. The river's embrace and the bees' feast. The annual inundation and honey's renewal. Let's now explore a profound natural phenomenon that utterly shaped ancient Egyptian life. Imagine the hot, dry months. When the Nile recedes, leaving the fields parched and cracked, life slows, waiting. As the waters slowly cover the land, the beekeeper is keenly aware of the changes. While the land is submerged, the bees remain safely in their hives, living off the honey stores gathered from the previous season. The newly nourished land explodes with life. Almost overnight, a vibrant carpet of wildflowers emerges. You, the beekeeper, now work with renewed vigor and quiet joy. This period after the inundation is a time of incredible productivity. The rhythmic cycle of the Nile, its rise, its gentle retreat, and the subsequent explosion of life, creates a profound sense of security and continuity. Close your eyes now and feel the slow, steady swell of the ancient Nile washing over the land. These two segments specifically focus on the beekeeper's role within the larger context of ancient Egypt. The beekeeper's apprentice, passing down the ancient wisdom. Let us now gently settle into the final moments of our journey with the ancient Egyptian beekeeper. As the golden sun dips below the horizon, casting long, peaceful shadows across the Nile's quiet banks, this is a time of profound stillness, a moment when the day's labors give way to quiet contemplation, and the wisdom of a life lived in harmony with nature truly reveals itself. Imagine our beekeeper, their work for the day complete, sitting not by the bustling market, nor in a grand temple. It's a moment to reflect on the day, on the delicate balance of the hive, on the tireless work of the bees, on the unending generosity of the Nile. Each challenge overcome, each small act of care, each moment of quiet observation contributes to a deeper understanding of oneself and the world. Just as the beekeeper has found deep wisdom in the simple, repetitive rhythms of their work and their connection to nature, you too can find a similar wisdom within yourself. Feel the deep sense of peace that comes from a life lived in tune with the earth's rhythms, free from unnecessary haste or worry. As the last echoes of the day fade and the gentle darkness embraces you, know that this very stillness holds profound power. It is here, in the quiet, that growth happens. It is here, in the calm, that wisdom blossoms. Think of the patience required to wait for the honey, the care given to each bee, the quiet observation of the world's natural flow. Just as the beekeeper nurtured their bees, you can nurture your own spirit, allowing your inner wisdom to grow. These are not just lessons for an ancient artisan. They're timeless truths for anyone seeking a deeper sense of self, a calmer spirit, a richer, more connected existence. The beekeeper has learned that anxiety and rush disturb the hive, just as they disturb the inner spirit. Calmness is key, always. The beekeeper understands, deeply and intuitively, that true abundance comes not from accumulation, but from harmony, from giving to nature and receiving its gifts in return. Drift into a deep, restorative sleep, knowing that the journey towards inner harmony continues even in your dreams. From patience, from respect, from a quiet understanding of the interconnectedness of all things, but on a simple, sun-warmed stone outside their humble home. The last active bees have returned to their hives, their gentle hum now a soft, continuous lullaby. The air, cooler now, carries the faint, sweet scent of night-blooming flowers and the deep, earthy aroma of the river. The only sounds are the distant call of a night bird, the whisper of the breeze through the papyrus, and the rhythmic lapping of the Nile against its banks, the very heartbeat of this ancient land. The beekeeper is not engaged in any task. They are simply being. Their hands, once busy with smoke and honeycombs, now rest peacefully in their lap, fingers slightly curled, still carrying the faint, reassuring scent of honey. Their gaze is soft, distant, looking out across the landscape, perhaps towards the first faint stars beginning to emerge in the deepening twilight. In this quiet vigilance there is a profound sense of inner peace. This stillness is not emptiness, but fullness. Just as the bees diligently build their perfect comb, cell by cell, so too does a life of peace and wisdom get built, moment by moment. And now, as you listen, you too are invited into this peaceful evening meditation. Allow the quiet, contented presence of the beekeeper to envelop you. You are capable of cultivating this same inner peace, of finding your own moments of quietude and connection. Now let the soft hum of the ancient world, the gentle flow of the Nile, and the profound peace of the beekeeper's spirit carry you away.